Hello, this is Angie Irwin, and I thought I would go ahead and do a screencastify for my culminating project of the Google Tools Summer 2 project. I've been working really hard trying to get all these little projects completed. And, before I begin sort of going through my projects with you, I must say that it is quite refreshing to know that so many of these tools and all these little projects that been working so hard on are going to be directly implemented in my classroom. So I'm so super excited about that. And I'm excited to go through my projects and show them with you. So as it shows here with what we should include, I just wanted to, I'll give a synopsis of each of the 5 projects. And hopefully I remember to go back and really discuss how the G Suite for Education will shift instructional practices. I'll explain a little bit about what my classroom used to look like 2 years ago before I was on sabbatical. And then, of course, the last part here with justification of how the G Suite for Education software can encourage students to develop ethical digital citizen practices. That is a mouthful. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So, of course, here's my folder, my Google Tools Summer 18 folder with all of my goodies in. Project number 1, I chose Google Drive Doc Sheets, Slides, and Forms. And essentially, what I wanted to focus on here was really making sure that students were delving into the Google Drive and the Google Tools every single day. I was able to make forms, and I'm excited this year to be able to actually embed forms in my Google Classroom, which is coming up, and avoid all those hours and hours and hours of grading multiple choice assessments. So the goal is, of course, to get these forms completed, filled out, have students take them, and automatically shared into a spreadsheet to generate some grades so that I can spend my valuable time working with students, meeting with students, and really making sure that they are learning and not just going through the motions. So I did make a welcome back Google form. I'll show that to you very quickly here. Hopefully it pops up faster than not. I just wanted a quick little icebreaker. Welcome back to school. Here's your Chromebook. You might be sharing with a friend, but we'll go back and forth. What was your favorite summer memory? How many brothers or sisters do you have? Did you read this summer? And I'm going to make sure that I emphasize, be honest. If you didn't read, fine. Why not? Why didn't you read? What were you doing instead? What do you like to do in your spare time? And what do you believe is your greatest strength? I thought it'd be awesome to put these questions into a form because that first week of school, boy, those answers to all those questions get really muddled. And it'll be interesting to be able to take a look at the results to all these forms for all my students. I'll have about 53 students total this year. So it'll be really interesting to go back and check in on them and see what they answered at the very beginning, especially as I'm trying to get to know them. The second part that I have here is a maker space. We at Northeastern will be having a makerspace lab in our building. The other intermediate building does have one right now. And at a little makerspace retreat, ironically going on right as this class was going on as well, I was able to make a little sample for students pairing with the book Wonder, which we will be reading this year. And I'm so very excited. So I included that in my Google Slides. I even was able to, as you can see here on the side, I was even able to embed a little video, that students can watch, and just a little poking fun at ourselves. But this is my aide, Mrs. Lutz, and I was able to walk through the process of designing, creating, building, thinking, all that fun stuff that the makerspace is all about. So I did embed that in there as one of my tools. I do have a class list with Google Docs. I always use Microsoft, as I have listed there. And I'm excited to use the Google Docs because already I have looked it up on my phone and went, wait, who's in my class? Oh, wait, who's in Mr. Kochenauer's class? Let's take a look here. So I have that moving right along. On to my last document there is my Google Sheets gradebook, which took me a very long time to get all my formulas and everything else in there. But I have everything all set up with my students and their names, and I am ready to go with that Google Sheet, which is kind of a monster to get set up. You might ask, why didn't you use the gradebook? Because it is offered in the tools. And I actually did not like the grade book. It was a little too restrictive. I spent a lot more time formatting than anything. All right. I did read an article about just simply Google for Educators, best features for busy teachers. It was a great overview from Edutopia of all the G Suite tools that could be used. Oh, and I apologize. I am noticing that I did not include the link to that. I'll have to send that to you another way. All right. So moving on to project number 2, Google Sites. I do have a Google site of my own already from my digital portfolios course. And I created that site just for my professional portfolio going through the MET program. So with this one, I was able to create a new Google site that will be the sole purpose of communicating with my students and giving my students and their families the most relevant information that they might need for the upcoming week or month, depending on assessments, events, or any other special things that might be happening. So how will students be using Google Sites? Well, I'm hoping that after students get used to using my site and getting in there, that eventually they would be able to go ahead and create their own site, make their own designs, and be able to reach out beyond our classroom walls. I will show you my Google site really quickly here. And it's taking a little while to pop up here. All right. So this was a great, simple one to work with. I really love how quick and easy it is. I have some contact information here. There was one video I had watched where they were talking about making this your contact info. So I'll have to try that at another time. But I did put some information in here. I thought this would be a great way for families to go in. They can see some pictures of my family, get to know me a little bit better, ask some questions. Yes, that's me showing off a little. But I thought, everyone wants to know, what's your schedule like? All right, well, here's your specials. And a couple of things that I still need to put in are, important links as they come up. Right now I have our class Symbaloo page, and then going into another project here is my newsletter and blog that I created and was able to use. So this will be one of those. Oh, and I have a class calendar, which I am going to go in and add dates. And I don't have anything in here yet, but I thought this would be a great place to digitally upload those homework files so that students could have access to this. So the Google Sites really creates an environment of communication, collaboration, where students and their families can really just have access to me. Oh, and I will have to make a second video and stop this one. So I'll stop right there and I'll jump back in with project number 3.